Well, Bridget and David, I don't know if you know, you have the same last name. Well, Sandra, did you catch my little message to you? You're muted, so I can't hear you.
Yes, I did. Didn't you see my face? I was like, really?
Yeah,
You sound like an alcoholic.
but only
I'm
I,
just drinking water.
me too.
So what do you drink? Uh-huh. With a straw? Sure you are.
No, I love water. I put a little of that Welch's grape flavoring in it. That's the only way I can drink water.
That's gross.
Whatever. So, pretty quiet. Let's see. We'll see what we get here. May have to have you, start our podcast to get some people showing up, right?
We should talk about that. I've told you.
It's almost 1 o'clock. In fact, I've got 1 o'clock, you guys. People will be popping on. You never know who shows up. Denny Grimes here, the master of real estate. And I see that some of you have your cameras on, although I can see the ceiling. And if you're in a place where you can have your camera on, if we have a small group, that would be awesome because we can kind of drill down and give you a lot of specific attention relative to what you want to work on. Freddie, and is that Naples with 2 P's?
Sorry about that. I was thinking, I'm not sure why the other name populated, but there it is. Bam.
I wasn't sure it should be Naples or Nipples, but either one, we got it corrected now. And David, how are you? And Bridget, is that a husband or wife team? Maybe, I don't know. So, hey, other people will be popping on. I won't waste any more time. What we do here is mastery level role play. It will be posted to my YouTube channel. Today is December 15th, 2023. And what we like to work on is question-based listing enhanced conversations. And if you're new and you haven't been to my YouTube channel, Denny Grimes, the master of real estate, I've got over 200 videos there you can listen to, study, and practice your conversations. So let's get cracking. And we'll go from there. In fact, that is, if you're watching this on YouTube and you want to be able to log on, that is the QR code. Take a picture of that and you'll get the login information. It's every Friday, 1 to 2 o'clock Eastern time. So what we do is we work on conversations, objections. I have something here that I've been talking about on my recon. This is also a new slide for those people on my channel that they've just created this. If you'd like to be part of a daily role play that takes place 8:30 to 9 Central Time, well, that's 9:30 to 10 Eastern Time every day, that's the QR code. Anyone's welcome. KW, I'm with Keller Williams. You could be Keller Williams independent, it doesn't matter. And we want to make you better. And the market is changing. And so one of the points I made this past week, particularly when I heard about the article that came out, some knucklehead said that the interest rates are going to drop 6 times in 2024. And I think that's kind of ridiculous for somebody to make that kind of prediction. I think predictions like that hurt us more than help us. Because listen, if we really had perfect knowledge, if people didn't have any uncertainty about interest rates, the economy, the world, their destiny, would they need it? Probably not. So here is the article that a lot of people are talking about. Fed said they're going to cut interest rates 6 times in 2024. Well, that kind of makes buyers want to wait, right? I'm going to wait. That's why shoppers wait for Black Friday or Cyber Monday. It makes them wait, and they're already waiting. And also on the other end, if you like YouTube, I love YouTube. There are some crazy stories and headlines out there about the doomsday of real estate. So if if you're having a good day and you want to ruin it, watch one of those videos. And for every positive article, there's a negative one. So that's what the public's seeing. And so let's have some conversations around what's going on in your market. You can, I'm not preaching. If somebody wants to role play an issue, I'll role play with you. I'll be the buyer or seller. I'll be the agent if you want to see how I would do it. I cannot be out scripted. So if you want to test me, test me. So Freddie, you're in my marketplace. I've got a couple of people here. Rod, other people may be coming in. They're all going to be named Sherry for whatever reason. Somebody that can solve that problem, I'd be forever in their debt. So who would like to go first? We've got people here on Houston, David and Bridget. Where are you from? All right. I guess I'll play solitaire. Freddie, come on.
Denny, let's do this.
All right.
So, I am going to play the seller.
Ruby.
And of course, I'm waiting for that market to crash.
Okay. Have you been on my calls before, Freddie?
Once or twice before.
Okay, so let me just show you here. This is the model we like to follow. You want to kind of take a snapshot of it or whatever, acknowledge, isolate. That's basically 5 words. I understand. Other than that, a lot of agents get too talky there. Particularly agents, Sandra from Houston. A lot of us have been doing it for so long. We just have our own way of doing it. So the fewer words you can say, the better. All right. So I'll let Sandra go first if she wants to. All right. If she wants to handle it, or I'll handle it and then she can evaluate me. How do you want to do it, Sandra?
Oh, okay, what are you doing, Freddie? You're a seller?
Yep.
Sure, yeah, I'll be the seller.
Okay. I'll give a swing at it.
Sandra, before we start, I gotta say, you look like a scientist, not an agent in that background. It's fantastic.
It looks like you have a white lab coat on.
A white lab coat, yeah.
Oh no, I'm just cold. I'll do some work on your brain. Oh, that's why I thought you were talking about my president.
Just in general, it looks like,
Yes, I'm very, very bright. Okay, so what are we doing? You heard the interest rates are going down?
Yeah.
What was it?
Yeah, I'm gonna hold off because there's a crash coming, so that's why I'm gonna wait till spring, summer to sell.
Okay, so Freddie, I understand what you're saying. Where exactly did you hear that information? Stop. Let me just.
Model. Use the model. Come on.
I hear what I just said. I hear what you're saying. I understand that. Other than that,
Thank you. I feel
is
better.
there anything else keeping you from moving forward in the market?
Well, obviously, if I sell now, then I'm gonna be jumping into higher interest rates. So why not wait when things drop lower and there'll be more opportunities.
I understand that, and I do understand what you're saying in that regards, Freddie. If you did wait and the interest rates come down, do you feel like there will be more competition in the market at that time?
Possibly, but there'll be probably more properties on the market too.
Potentially, this is true. Let me ask you this. What is the actual reason that you're wanting to move in the first place?
Well, I think that I bought at the right price and I want to sell for a nice profit.
So just pause for a second. I'm going to interject something. Keep your train of thought, Sandra. You're doing great. I'm saying this for the folks that are new to on here and then maybe new watching on YouTube. I put up the graphic behind me, and what Sandra's doing is she asked a couple of questions. Now she's going to motivation. So I use a baseball diamond. Motivation. Why are you thinking about selling? What's interesting about it, and this is where I think she's going, we'll find out, is, well, I won't even say anything. Sandra will probably get him trapped in this because this is a classic example of a seller is going to have a V8 moment here in a moment. Okay, Sandra, keep going.
Okay, so the last thing you said, Freddie, was that you feel like you're going to make a good profit on your property, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so other than that, is there any other reason that you would be moving?
Nope.
Okay, so Freddie, let me ask you this. If you go ahead and wait and the market doesn't necessarily crash, as we're being told, how is that going to affect you and your ability to sell your home at this time?
It's not.
So you're willing to hold out and wait on the market?
Yeah. Right now we're willing to wait. We're not in a rush.
How long are you willing to wait, realistically?
As long as it takes. We felt like we got in at the right price point, the right interest rate, and there's no reason to sell unless I get the price that I want.
Okay,
I
now
understand.
wait a minute. I'm confused. Freddie, what is your objection?
The
You don't-
objection,
You
well,
don't want to sell now because you think the market's going to crash.
right, because I'm trying to, I would be buying another property, so I'm waiting for the market to go lower, but this is the objection that I'm getting, right? So I have a client that wants to sell a property for $950, doesn't want to lower the price, wants to wait till the market, till he gets the right price in order to buy cheaper. Of course, that doesn't work because we know that when the market drops, his price will also come down too.
So your motivation is profit.
It is.
Mhm.
That was the
Yeah.
original motivation. Yes.
So here's where I'm gonna just get some clarity. And I want you to be thinking what's really going on. So, okay, so Freddie, you play whatever role you want. You don't have to modify, but if a seller says, I don't want to sell because I want a certain number and I think the market's going to crash, well, he should be selling like immediately.
Now,
Right.
So that doesn't compute. So I'm just saying, like, the loss in space, that does not compute.
Right. So the motivation is the money, but in addition, the to be able to buy again, they're thinking of like the interest rates that's now current versus later.
So do you need to sell in order to buy?
Yes.
So do you want to sell low and buy low?
Well, obviously no, but that's the issue that I'm running into. Is that it's
Sandra, go ahead. You get it. Go ahead.
so okay, so Freddie, if what I'm hearing is you guys are wanting to buy a home, you're wanting to purchase that home at a good price.
with the
But-
profits of the home that I'm selling currently.
Right. So wouldn't it make sense to you if the market is high now, projections are it's going to crash, to go ahead and sell now and then go ahead and purchase your home, your next home?
Is that
You'll-
an actual projection?
Well, this is what you're thinking. So here,
I was going to say, that's what you told me.
Well, you're the expert, not me, right?
No, hang on. We don't make any statements. We ask questions. So how would you like your cake and eat it too? If your home is worth less every day, right?
Right.
You think that's true? Your home was worth less every day.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm in the market, but I'm not sure. I think that my home is worth what I invested in the home.
Okay, well, if you think the market's going to crash at some point in time, it's going to be losing value, yes?
Correct.
Do you want to sell it before it starts losing value?
I would hope that the market doesn't crash, but that's what I keep seeing in television.
Well, then if it's
Well-
not going to crash, what's it going to do?
It's going to lose value.
Okay, so in other words, this is semantics. So it's not going to go to crashing, it's going to fall, Would you agree with that?
Possibly.
So
All right.
wouldn't you prefer to go ahead and sell your property now and, per your understanding, wait until the market crashes and you could go into a rental property? You can move in with your mom, and when the market crashes, then purchase your new home. Would that work for you, Freddie?
I mean, that makes some sense. I don't know if I want to go into a rental, but I guess if I go into the market now and it does sell, then I can at least hold on to the profits until it crashes.
Yes, you could, Freddie.
Is your last name Kruger?
That's what I feel like. Thanks a lot, Freddie.
Sorry, then I give you the runaround.
So Freddie, you bring it up. If someone wants to, whatever their opinion is, and here are the rules, for my rules. We don't make statements that aren't true. We don't predict the future. And we don't even argue with them. If they think they saw Elvis at the grocery store, there's nothing that I can say that will change their mind, right?
Right.
So if you think the market is, in fact, look right here. I mean, exactly what you said. All right, when that article came out, here are the 4 top objections of the moment. A seller objection. I heard that the rates are going to drop in 2024, so I want to wait. Or the buyer objection. I heard the rates are going to drop in 2024, so I'm going to wait. Now, on the other end, this is one you brought up. The seller says, I heard the market's going to crash, so I want to wait.
Right.
And a buyer will say, I heard the market's going to crash. I want to wait. So take the good news, bad news for buyer or seller. That's the bookends of the opinion on the market. So that's their picture in their mind, and we can work on this from a buyer or seller standpoint, whoever wants to go up next. What we have to help them see by asking questions is a picture they're not seeing. And if you've got a seller that says, I don't want to sell because the market's going to crash, that's like saying, book me a ticket on a plane that's going to crash. That's what I want to ride that one. I'm a little bit sarcastic.
Really?
I like it.
Never would
All
have
right.
picked up on that.
That'd be enough for you. All right, you can eat now, Sandra. So we've got David. David's in. He's under Sherry. I don't know why it does that. David. He's in Fort Myers. David. Actually, we have 2 Davids. David Rod. Where are you located? You're muted, David. Just press the space bar.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Scottsdale, Arizona.
Scottsdale. I love that. My wife and I have a home there. All right. So.
Yep.
And I got you. Are you on? Are you with Keller Williams? Are you with KCN?
Yes.
Good. All right. Then I won't make any jokes about my wife.
Well, I'm not in her team, but I'm at the same office.
Okay, then I'll just make mild jokes. All right. So in Scottsdale, would you like to work on a role play with us? And I'm going to come to
Sure.
David Mulligan again here in a moment, so you can get ready in a second, David. All right, David, in Scottsdale, would you like to work on a role play with us?
Sure can.
What skill, what knife would you like to sharpen?
I could be the seller.
You want to be a seller?
Yeah.
Okay, and what objection?
I guess same thing previous seller discussed. I don't want to sell right now. I'm going to wait.
All right, Louise? Can you handle it? Louise, you have so many friends. Did you actually have those Christmas cards mailed to you, or did you buy them to hang them up to make it look like you have a
Those
lot
are
of
my birthday cards.
Your birthday cards? When was that?
December 3rd.
Good for you. Happy birthday.
Happy
Thank you.
birthday.
Thank you. I actually like to observe maybe the person in the Sherry Barraquio square. That doesn't look like a Sherry can speak.
I don't know who that is.
He's wearing a red shirt.
Oh, that's David. David.
Yeah, I have a black shirt.
No. I've got 2 Davids. David, come off
Oh, there's
mute.
another one.
No,
Oh, yeah.
Red shirt, David. Red shirt,
Come on,
David.
David. Come off mute. Let's go.
Okay, so,
This David,
um,
yeah, David, he's an awesome agent here in my area. We have conversations, we coach. So he wants to get better at this. He's much better at asking questions. So David, you're talking to David. He's a seller. He doesn't want to sell because he thinks the market's going to crash. You're at the table.
okay. And how should I approach that? Like, just like go towards motivation, or
Well, I'll coach you on it. However, let's just assume this happened today before we had this call. Do
Okay,
it how you would normally do it, then I'd show you how I do it.
okay. All right, sounds good. So David, I understand that initially you wanted to sell your property.
Yes.
And David, when you sold your property, what did you intend to do? Were you gonna buy a new house or were you gonna relocate?
Good question. It depends. If market keeps crashing, I might wait. If I sell, I
Okay,
might rent. Or depends on the buyer, I might do a lease back on the house if they're willing to do that. There are
okay,
many options.
okay,
I may not buy because market is declining. I might have to wait to purchase another house for maybe a year.
okay. And aside from um aside from hmm, there's a lot of good options there in terms of his just kind of three different directions. Um well, if you did have a buyer, David, that made you an offer that you were willing to accept, what do you think you would do?
Yeah, if the offer is what I'm looking for, I would probably accept the offer.
Okay. And would you be purchasing in the same area? Would you be looking to upgrade your home? Would you be looking to potentially do something with the equity? Have you thought about what you might invest in?
Hang on a minute, let's just talk, don't answer that, David. So David, I'm gonna give you some coaching. That's the second time that you've asked the question and given him multiple choices.
Okay.
Now, hang on, so what you wanna do is you wanna ask the question and don't answer it. What
Okay.
are you going to do next? However, he already told you that. You're asking a question he already answered. What did he say?
He said a couple different options that he could potentially rent back, purchase, or rent to the market, adjusts.
So this is just a little sidebar that we're having a conversation. Anyone can pop in except David. David, you have to kind of freeze yourself because we're gonna come back to you in a moment. Somebody explain to me what you heard. And just give me a sentence or so of where this situation is. Is he a buyer or a seller or both?
Both.
I say seller.
So,
Yeah, he's gonna wait for the market to shift in order to purchase again. So he's a seller and he's open to selling now. You just need to close them.
Yes, and that's Freddie, you put that well. Here's what I want you to pick up on. I'm gonna take what I can get, and I don't mean this negatively. I'm going to close on what I can close on and not try to close on what I can't. He basically said, I want to sell, I think the market's gonna go south, I'm not sure I want to buy right away. Then I am basically gonna close on the listing. I'm not even gonna have a conversation with him about where he's going next.
okay.
I'm gonna take the listing.
Okay.
And how would you do that? How would you do that from where you are right now, David? How would you close?
I would ask him where he would want to price the property and set an appointment to sign the listing.
Well, we're at the table already,
Oh, okay. Okay.
so. How would you do it?
Okay. Well, David, did you have a price in mind that you would like to put the property on the market for?
Yeah, I already have the price. I don't know if you know that or not. I had the property listed before and I let it get canceled. Yeah, I like to reprice it for the same price I had it listed in MLS before.
Okay. Well, we'd be happy to assist and we could prepare the listing agreement. And one of the things.
Go ahead, David, ask the question.
One of the things that I've gotten just recently doing is that at that listing appointment, I do go over and I share with them the three outcomes and I do so. Can I like once they sign the listing agreement, I say, can we go over these three outcomes so that we could prepare for what may happen, what will happen, one of the three things that will happen when we list it.
Yeah, I'll let you do that in a second. Here's where I would go. Now, you asked him if he has a price in mind. This is where I'd go with the conversation. And I don't know what's the price you want for your home, David?
Well, I had it listed for 1.2 million, and I'd like to relist it at the same price.
All right, now, this is exactly how I handle every appointment. I know you've done your research, you've looked at past sales, the actors, the whole bit. So are you saying if I were to agree to list at 1.2 million, are you ready to move forward with me today?
You want me to answer?
Yeah, please.
Okay. Yeah. For price is good. Yeah, I agree, but I still need more information from David. Tell me what kind of experience he has selling houses in this area, so I can be more comfortable signing a listing agreement with him.
Okay, so now you would, rather than assuming that you're gonna go through maybe a listing agreement and all this other stuff, well, he's not ready to commit to you yet, David.
Mhm.
So now you're gonna have to, now that was a trial close, he said no.
Mhm.
Then the next thing I'm gonna do, all right, so what information would you like from me today to get you to the point that you're comfortable to hire me today?
That's a great question.
Yeah, like I said, provide some information, any houses you might have listed or sold in the area. Maybe some clients that you work with, I can get some feedback so I can get to know you more and hire you as my agent to move forward.
Okay,
Okay, David, upon providing customer feedback and some of my past sold properties in the local area, will you be ready to move forward after that?
I think I will be. At that
Okay.
time, I make part of decision.
Okay. I'll reach out to my admin and I'll get that together and
Yeah.
request you your email and I'll send it over to you shortly.
Sure.
so
Please
let's
do.
assume you did that. You brought up the three outcomes. I have it here. If you don't have it, people that are watching via Zoom or even the YouTube, you can download it. How would you then go over the three outcomes for the people that have not heard that yet?
Absolutely. So David, whenever we list a property, there's three things, one of three things will happen. If we put it on the market and we get little to no showings, the market's saying no. The second thing that may happen is that we'll put it on the market and we're getting showings and getting activity, but we're not getting any offers. And then the third thing that will happen is that we'll sell the property.
Almost, that's very good. It's pretty close. Again, I know you kind of stopped in a real world scenario. You're gonna say, does that make sense to you? And so anybody else want to go through, if you're using the three outcomes, Louise, Sandra, anybody, how do you go through that? That's about a 30 to 40-second ditty. Anyone want to go through it the way you would say it? It's the most important conversation you can have.
I gotta look at my notes. Okay, so who am I talking to?
Me,
Oh, sorry, Denny. Okay, so Denny, so let me just explain something to you. When we're going on the market, we're going to have three things that could happen. We're going to hit the market and have little to no showings on the property. That's indicative of pricing. Or we're going to have no showings on the property. That too is indicative of pricing. And then the other thing is we're going to sell your house. So that means that we priced your house accordingly. So
you're so cute, but that wasn't right.
well, I know, but I always do it wrong, different than what you say. But I've been doing this for 21 years. I'm not going to change. Anyway,
Go ahead. Well, you said outcome one and outcome one. You didn't do outcome two. All right.
yes, I did. Oh, okay.
Go ahead, Louise.
Hey, David, when we put your house on the market, one of three, may I share with you what will happen when we put your house on the market?
Sure.
Okay, one of three things is going to happen when we expose your home to the entire market. People are going to see it online. We're going to be able to track it, and this is how. One, we'll have little to no showings. And if people are seeing your home and they're not coming to see it in person, what is that telling you?
Well, maybe we are not priced right if there is enough looking and not showing.
Right, right. If they're seeing it online and they're not coming to see it, they're buying another house.
Right.
The second scenario is they're going to come and see it and they're going to make a decision to buy something else. That's when we have showings and no offers. What is that telling us?
Is not the right house for them. Price may not be the reason, could be the house itself.
Well, it's telling us that we're close, but no cigar, right? Because they're actually
Right.
coming in to see your home. And then the third scenario is it sells. Now, we all know you want to be at number 3. So every week when we talk, I'm going to ask you, what outcome are we in?
Right, all right, now, awesome. Do you use it in your listing presentation, Louise? I'm gonna give you the Lou, what's that dyer, Lou Gaganis, he was a famous dyer. I'm gonna do it here's the way I do it. You add a few words there, again, no sin in that. However, my only caution is if you ask them what that means, you may not get the answer you want. So I tell them what it means. So Louise, one of 3 things are going to happen next. Number 1, outcome 1 will receive low to no showings. What that means is the bait is here and the fish are here. And the remedy is repositioning. I never say pricing, Sandra, it's always positioning. Outcome 2 is we'll have showings and no offers or maybe a low offer. The good news is we're close, but we're the bridesmaid, not the bride. And we still may have to have a minor repositioning. And outcome 3, it sells. Does that make sense to you? So that's about a 30 or 45 second, not that it has to be. However, when you go over that, that's just the way I do it. There's no wrong. Freddie, have you ever heard that before?
I have, yes, I have the slide. I use it, although, once you get them in, sometimes, like I mentioned previously, some of the sellers, they still don't want to believe in the fish slide that was previously shown during the listing proposition.
The thing that we added, Louise, and this is what she did, is that you have to then reinforce it all the time. And when you have the weekly follow-up, you say, look, the first thing I'm going to ask you, Louise, in fact, I'll tell you what I'm going to do to make it easy. I'm going to send you a picture of that, the one you initial. See, this right down to the initial it. I'm going to send you a picture. The first question I'm going to ask you, based on the showing activity, what outcome are we at? You've got to reinforce that. Then the first time or second time, maybe even the third week that goes by, they're going to say, well, how do I know you're marketing it? You had better have your analytics from Zillow, Realtor.com, Showing Time, or whatever that suggests that you have all these people looking at it. And beyond that, if they still don't believe it, just tell them, hey, when you run to Elvis, let me know. So
Yeah.
I will say that I recently, the listing I just put on the market this month, sometimes I have problems with, servicing the listing and doing an adjustment. And she reached out to me on a Sunday, and that was family time. And I sent her a quick text, and I mentioned the outcome sheet, and she literally sent me a message back that she's ready to reposition. And then on Monday we did a price reduction, and I was like blown away because I'm a chatty person, so sometimes those conversations can be extremely long-graded and brutal. So that was just very quick and efficient communication. So I found it to be helpful.
good. Well, all right, good. I'm glad you brought that up. I'd like to make sure people understand that. What's next? If somebody wants to take potluck, you can give me a number. I'll give you an objection, and we'll give you some time to handle it. I'm not chatting. Who's ready? Louise? Who is, I don't know, there's somebody on with the headphones on, but your name is Sherry. And what is your name? Come on off mute. You can play Dorothy. I can't tell who that is. Where you can,
Hi,
what's your name?
how you doing? My name is Miguel.
Miguel, can you talk?
Sure.
All right, you want to buyer or seller objection?
Sure. I'll do a seller objection.
Okay, I'm thinking about selling it myself. Louise, you are the seller. Be right back. Go
So
ahead.
Miguel, thank you for coming by. I've just decided we're going to sell it ourselves.
Okay. And what is it that's really making you decide to sell unrepresented than to work with a qualified agent like myself?
Well, there aren't a lot of homes on the market right now. Inventory is low, so I feel like the market is working for us as sellers, and we could save a few bucks.
Absolutely. Of course, I would love to save you some money as well. And what if I showed you a way that I could put more money in your pocket by working with me than by selling the property on your own?
I'd like to see how that looks.
Great. So when's a great time for us to get together?
think
Today at
we're
4
already at-
o'clock?
I think we're already at the table, aren't we?
Oh, are we?
So let's say
Okay,
we're
so-
at the table.
Okay, great. You said, great. So are you ready to get me hired? Are you already ready to officially hire me?
No, you dug a hole. You have to see if you can get out of it. You dug a hole, Sam.
You said
I
you
can
could
get you
show
more
me.
money.
Yeah. How
Well,
does
you
that
said
look
you'd love
like?
to see, you said you'd love to see, you said you'd love to see it,
Yes.
right?
So show me how you could do that. You said what if I could show you that I could make you more money by hiring me versus selling it unrepresented? So what does that look like?
Okay. Well, now I'm confused because if have we already gone through the listing presentation? I don't know what I would say to you at that point if I've already showed you the listing presentation.
Well, let's assume that you you closed her on that. Now you're sitting there. Now she says, show me how you're going to get me more money.
Um,
Now the proof is in the pudding.
yeah, I mean, at that point, it'd be something I'd be showing her in terms of my listing presentation. I would say, well, as you can see, this is the things that we're going to do from A to Z to market your property. And would
Okay,
you
now
agree?
hang on. So this is just us talking. So you're going to
Mhm.
show her your marketing.
Sure. My slide of my marketing plan, bullet points of what we do.
Okay.
Well, how do-
Now, so go ahead. You can ask. Here's the thing. I'm just pushing back. How does that get her more money?
Yes. Yeah. How do I know that that's going to get me more money than me selling it myself?
Well, I would tell you that the National Association of Realtors does studies every year, and statistically, we see that homeowners will make typically 15 to 30% more than they would 10 to 15% more than they would by selling it on their own.
Yes, but how?
I'm stumped.
Well, okay. So, I mean, hasn't anyone ever asked you how?
Yeah, and I tell them from the marketing plan to negotiations to transaction coordinator, these are the things that we're going to employ that these are typical resources that a for sale by owner does not have.
Okay, so this being the mastery call and not recon, and this is my call. I mean, yeah, so it's not Keller Williams' call. I'll give you, is it okay if I give you some opinions on some things that you don't have to agree with? Fair?
Absolutely.
So let's talk this because we're all agents. And believe me, I used to have a listing presentation too, and I spent a lot of money on marketing and I let that do the heavy lifting. Then I realized I didn't have to do that. And what I would do is I would just start putting, copies of all the print. And this is before the internet was as big as it is. And, there would be all these things. No one, if they wanted to weigh like in a scale, how much stuff I did, no one had a bigger pile than me. However, let me ask you a question. If you spend $500 on marketing a listing, you get professional photography and drone shots, virtual tour, and I spend $1,000 and I do all those things and $500 more, will that get the seller any more money?
No,
How about if I
not
spend
necessarily.
what if I spend $10,000 more on my marketing? Will that get the seller any more money?
No.
Any answers out there? Because I
I'm thinking
don't believe it. Go ahead.
I would, the C in me, the high C in me, I would like to see not what you're planning to do, but the results of what you have done. Your sales price to list price ratios.
Okay, well, can I poke holes in that in a moment? So, I do not believe there is a direct relationship between the amount of money you spend and what you net the seller. So
I
I'm gonna
agree.
You agree?
But we give a different exposure as a real estate agent. A for sale by owner doesn't get the same exposure on a listing that we do, you know, the multiple explaining what the MLS is.
That's different. That's different than I think what I heard him say. I heard him say his marketing versus another agent's marketing, not his marketing compared to a for sale by owner's marketing. So maybe I heard it wrong.
I said compared to a for sale by well, yeah, compared to a for sale by owner's marketing.
Okay,
Mhm.
so
That was the objection, that she would sell it better than, or I was saying that I can get her more money than she could on her own.
then explain it to, like, Louise is a C, explain it to her how that works.
So back again, she even said it being a C. I identified that already, myself, and I would have gone to statistics such as the one that I shared about the NAR, or going into again looking for C in statistical. Um,
So regarding the NAR, I'm going to say something like, well, that seems like it might be biased information because it's prepared by the National Association of Realtors and you're a realtor.
okay, and then testimonial, maybe showing them how I've worked with for sale by owners in the past, and a testimonial story of XYZ. I've got this last for sale by owner I worked with, had their house at a certain price for over 3 months, and when they gave me the opportunity to work with them, I was able to sell the property within 30 days at full asking price.
So that
So
would be,
why don't you put that information out there? Tell people, like, know your numbers, know that, my list to sell price is 98 or 99% of sales price, that's the kind of stuff that a C is going to want to see. No pun
As long
intended.
as you understand that that doesn't mean anything.
I understand that, but she's also asking to show me what you do, and he can show the results that he gets.
so I could also say something like, well, you're telling me you'll make more money than I would. Are you willing to guarantee it? Are you able to guarantee that?
David, you had a comment? David,
I was just gonna ask Denny, because I know list versus by sales price sometimes is skewed because we're trying to let sellers select values or set prices. But what about time? Because I know time is important, and if we service the listing correctly, I found that most of my listings go quicker in time when I'm servicing them well.
there. So does that mean an agent whose days on the market is 3 is better than an agent whose days on the market is 10? Or 30?
Not necessarily.
No, it doesn't. Here, let me walk through how I'd handle it. Now, this is how I'd handle the appointment. How I can net you more money. Number one, so you're a for sale by owner, and so you're thinking about selling it yourself.
Yeah.
My first question, Louise, is this. If I bring, and I'm at the table, I'll ask it at the phone. If I bring, or another agent brings you a buyer, are you going to compensate them for?
Sure. We'll give you guys like 2%.
Okay. So, all right. So then if you're gonna, and now to go back, is it Miguel? Was that your name, Miguel?
Yes.
Okay, Miguel. There are some stats out there, and I'm going to look it up because I just want to make sure I have them. If I'm going to quote something, I want to be able to point to it and say, here is the study, here's the article. So good for you, Louise, because chances are there's going to be another agent's going to have the buyer. So that's great. And by the way, does anyone here know, if you had to have a conversation, the 4 types of buyers? Anybody know the 4 types of buyers?
Yes.
What's number one, Louise?
Serious in a hurry,
2,
serious not in a hurry.
3?
Is it not serious?
No, it's investors.
Investors and then looky-loos.
There you go. So you could then, all right, so that's great. So then if you're gonna be, and National Association says 90% of seller, so just count on that's gonna, so you're gonna pay 2% out, right? So if that's the case, how much are you attempting to save?
I guess I'm attempting to save 4%.
Well, you're gonna pay 2% out, so that you can count on it. It's going to happen because the only two buyers who are gonna look at your home are looky-loos and investors. And investors want to give you 60 cents on the dollar. So
I'm
then,
sorry. Can you repeat that? Well, how did you come to that conclusion?
because, okay, all right, so Louise, you know the conversation. It goes like this. Freddie, can I share with you the 4 types of buyers?
Sure.
Number 1 are serious in a hurry. So imagine if you want to go to Baltimore, you've been transferred to Baltimore and you're serious about buying, you've got to be there and you're in a hurry. How are you going to find a home? Are you going to find an agent that's been referred to you, a reputable agent that knows the market, that knows the inventory, that knows the homes that aren't even on the market, that are coming on the market? Or are you going to get out the paper or go online and search and drive by these neighborhoods of all the people that are selling it themselves?
I'll probably go with an agent, but that's not the only type of buyer.
Well, I know there's 4 types. Then there's the second option, which is serious and not in a hurry. Most of these people are maybe first-time home buyers, or they're serious, but they're cautious and they don't know the area. They need to learn. They need someone to educate them. Now, because they don't necessarily, I mean, again, it may change because of the lawsuit. Do you think they're going to want to go and do it alone and go in and search and look at the for sale by owners, or they're going to hire an agent to help them, particularly if it's being compensated by the seller?
Agent.
All right, then we have the third. Now, investors love to go and look at for sale by owners because they're not professionally represented by an agent or a professional negotiator. Now, the problem is they're looking to buy things at 60 cents or 70 cents on the dollar. So if you want to wholesale your house, that buyer might be wanting to talk to you. Are you willing to wholesale your house?
Absolutely not.
And the fourth type is looky-loos. These people don't have money, don't have credit. There's no agent that will work with them because they have no money, they have no credit, yet they like to look at houses. And they love to look at for sale by owner houses because you guys think they're buyers and they're not. So they're not going to buy your home. They're just going to waste your time. So you can see why the serious buyers, those in a hurry and those not in a hurry, are going to be working with an agent. So you're going to kiss your 2% goodbye.
Okay.
Any comments on that?
No.
Actually, I think I didn't come up with that. That was, I don't know, maybe Diana Kokoska did it, wrote bold. I don't know, maybe she got it from somewhere else, but I think that is really a pretty brilliant analysis.
I think that's amazing. And it's so true because time and time again, when you're working with a buyer and then whenever you get someone that comes in and they send you a property that's not on the market, it's always an investor. And whenever it's a buyer, it's different. They look for you for that guidance.
So let me finish the conversation. And what we're doing is reducing to the ridiculous. Okay, so now the 4% you were trying to save, assuming you can list at 4%, 2%'s out the window, right, Louise?
Well, I'm thinking that it's going to be a 6% fee to an agent. And if I'm prepared to pay the buyer agent 2%, that leaves me with the ability to save 4%.
Okay, I got it. All right, so that's fine. And notice I'm not going to go into all kinds of conversations with him, and I'm just going to stick on one point. So you're attempting to save 4%. So let me ask you something. So you're gonna price. How are you going to price your home? How are you going to come up with the asking price?
Oh, I just went online and got some ideas there.
Okay.
That's the bit.
And so let's assume that you do that, and that information, is it possible that the online information that you have, because you don't do real estate every day, do you?
No.
What happened? Is it possible that a seller like yourselves, that they're not working with a professional, could misprice their home by maybe 1%, maybe only 1%?
That's possible.
Am I boring you?
No, it's possible, but it's not likely because the last time someone sold a home in this neighborhood, I'm using that as a guide too.
Okay, and so my question is it still possible that you can miss it because when that seller sold, it was a different time period. The market may have ticked up or ticked down. Is it possible you might not know what the real value is?
It's possible.
Okay, well, I'm saying, let's assume that could happen.
Mhm.
How about if you use that information and you put your home on the market and it doesn't sell? Now you're faced with you're at the wrong price. You're going to have to reprice it. Is it possible that you might get other information? It could be erroneous, and you lower your house because you have to reposition it 1% too low.
It is possible.
Or is it possible because now it's been 30 days or 45 days, you're not getting activity, somebody comes along and makes an offer on your home, and you're getting a little bit nervous and you have no one negotiating for you, you could misnegotiate the value of your home 1% or so.
Any of that is possible. Mhm.
I mean, so even if that all happened, you're down to 2 or 3% right now. And by the way, when they do the inspection on the home, is it possible that you might have to fix things that normally you wouldn't have to fix because you don't have anybody representing you?
Nope, I'm selling it as is.
I'm sorry?
I'm selling it as is. I'm telling people this is as it is. I'm not
I
making
got
any
that.
changes.
I got that. However, an as-is contract does not mean it's an as-is buyer. Many times they'll step back in and ask you to fix things, and you know what? It happens in 90% of the contracts. And even, you see what I'm doing? Oh, by the way, if the appraisal comes in low, what's the first thing they're going to ask you to do?
Adjust the price.
So you see, on top of all that, then again, that's not even bringing in the fact that you have negotiating strength and the power of negotiation. And there's all those types, there's 3 or 4 types of or opportunities for us to negotiate. So that's how that is how that basically you can defend the fact that we are free. Now, again, what they net, we can sell it for more money, most likely. However, by the time they pay a buyer broker half, we only have to negotiate away half the fee, whether it's 2%, 3%, or 4%. And I think that's very easily done, particularly in a market right now. I'll tell you one thing that is an interesting stat. I don't like days on the market, but I did pull up from our MLS, David, we have the same MLS, you too, Freddie, that there were almost 12 months in a row, the original list price and the sales price were 100%. Now, I don't think our MLS can calculate more than 100%. However, right now, the original list price and the sales price is 95%. So there definitely is a change in the market. In fact, I asked my team this today. It'd be worth you guys knowing this. Our market in Southwest Florida peaked in April of last year. $470,000 in Lee County, and Naples was 8 something. It's in Lee County, it's 412. It's down 15% from the peak. So you know your numbers. You should know your numbers when you look at a monthly median, because the market is kind of eroding. And I could be, you could be right. If you say your market's not losing value, I would be a little suspect that that's true. But you tell me.
Are you in the Stellar MLS?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a massive one.
You guys are quiet. That worries me. Did anybody have any feedback on the way I handle the buy owner as far as
What holes would you poke in the list price to sell price ratio? I think I know what they are.
Okay.
Because I think
Give me a really good list of sales. It's not list of sales price anyway. It's sales price to list price. So give me a really good sales to list price ratio.
105,
And give me a bad one.
96.
Okay. Then if 105 is good, how would 110 be better?
Yes.
How about 120? You see, if an argument is a solid argument, it holds up in the extremes. How about 150? How about 200%?
Even better. Yeah.
No, it's not.
What would that mean? That would mean that there
It
was.
means
a
that the
sell
agent's
price.
listing the homes too low. Now, it could be a strategy. One can argue it's a strategy. This came up on Recon this week where someone said, I'll tell you what, we're going to list your home low. Well, if that's the case, why don't you list everything you get for $1?
It's my strategy.
Talk to me. What do you? Well, I know I'm John the Baptist. I'm a voice in the wilderness, but I'm giving you solid stuff, guys. It's just not mainstream.
I wonder if it looks better for a buyer agent when they're able to, at a buyer consultation, say the sell price to list price that we average for our buyers is 96%. And the median sell price to list price on the MLS is higher than that.
Okay.
Probably looks more attractive from the buy side. Right?
I think if the ratios are correct, it's attractive to either a buyer or seller.
1 second.
I think I see where Denny is coming from on the sell side. If I listed every house for $1, my sell price to list price ratio would be insane.
Right.
Because it would sell for much more. And if I'm
I
trying to
look-
capture you as a buyer, I'm going to say to you that because of our negotiation skills, we're able to perform better from a savings standpoint than the average MLS sell price to list price on the MLS. Like, would you like me to save you more money? I can do that, and this is what I've done for our other clients, and this is what I'd like to do for you.
Do you give your sellers a list price when you go to the listing appointment?
I used to before I was on here. Now I don't.
That's
Now
a
that's my-
big no.
Yeah.
No.
You guys are my disciples.
Thank you, John.
Yeah,
And I
what-
say to them, I use this verbiage. I'm not going to put my DNA on your price. I'm going to give you information so you'll be comfortable with the price you choose. And then I'm going to show you this 3 outcome sheet.
let me run this one by you, see if you like it better. And when you say I'm not going to put my DNA in, I know I talk to you that way. However, it sounds like you don't want to be responsible for
Yeah.
it. There's a better way, I think, of saying it. Well, what's going to happen in the future? What I do is I'll tell you everything I know, but I won't tell you what I don't know. I do not know where top market value is until we expose it. So I'm just not going to predict the future. Is that okay? Well, what do you mean? Well, if you'd hired me to go out and fish for you, I'm your fishing guide. I can't. I've been fishing the lake for 30 years, 10 years. I can't tell you where the fish are going to bite in any particular day. I just know how to find them.
Yeah, that is much nicer.
Freddie, what do you think? Am I crazy?
I think you're right on point. And I think that, as we go through this pivot, we're all getting caught sometimes in how to wrangle our clients either back on the hook or trying to price the properties correctly. Because I did get caught in one of those where I suggested a number of a pricing structure and the client did come back to me and said, hey, you said it would sell at this price. And it was just based on the comp at that time in the market, and that obviously the comps have changed, and I have been trying to wrangle them to restructure, reprice, repivot that number, and so it's been a little tough to show them why we are not in the market that we were 7 months ago.
Well, I'm going to speak it into reality. I see myself on stage somewhere with Gary Keller, Family Reunion, and Mega Camp, and going through a book that he has written, either co-authored with me or has written a foreword to it on the physics of real estate. And you guys have heard me, and you guys might humor me and believe some of it. However, I think it is so freeing when we no longer have to predict the future.
But clients, buyers, and sellers during a transaction, always find a verbiage to attach responsibility to the agent for the outcome. Whether is this going to close today? Are you sure it's going to close today? And I can't ensure that. I can't predict that. I can communicate with the lender, check the clear, like you could do all those things, but you can't ensure that. And it's their way of them trying to redirect frustrations, and yeah, it's not good. I try really hard to avoid.
Anything you guys want to say?
But it's important to set expectations. I
Yeah.
feel.
Well, and I wanted to go back to the objection about not giving them a direct price. Yeah, I mean, I will give them a range. I don't like to give them a direct price as well. But what script would we use when you have those clients that will naturally push back and say, well, you're the agent. I want to know the price from you.
Fair. I can close this in a minute. I'll say, okay, we've looked at the past sales, we've looked at unsuccessful sellers, which are actives, right? Based on that, and let's give me a number. These are all selling in the 525, 540 range, couple actives above 550. Based on that, where would you like to initially start your home on the market?
575.
Well, I thought you weren't going to tell me.
But see,
Well,
he initially starts.
right.
So it's the verbiage, the subtle tweak. By the way, do
Okay.
you say price reduction, Denny, or do you say price adjustment, or do you have some other verbiage?
Never a safe price. It's always reposition.
Reposition the price or
Yep.
reposition the home.
Reposition. It's positioning. It's not pricing.
Reposition in the market.
Yeah.
in the market.
So,
And then
so Miguel, if you said, well, that's why you're here, I would say, well, I'm going to tell you everything I know. That's what an expert can do. I know my market. I know historical trends. And by the way, do you think the market's working in your favor or working against you? Okay, whatever. Let's say, okay, based on this information, this is what we know. Where would you like to position? And then I have my graph here really fast. This is my listing presentation. Point A, you want to go to point A above these past data points, not comps. And in which case we can come down, or you want to go B, which we might leave money on the table. Where do you want to be, Miguel? Miguel, A or B? Because top market value is not known until you expose it. That's the thing I want you to understand. That top market is top dollar is not known. In fact, I have a little slide here. Well, you can't see it anyway. I got the thing up there. So do you want to be at point A or point B, Miguel?
Point A.
All right. So what number is that? Boom. And if you say, well, that's what I want you to determine, at some point in time, I might do this if it makes sense. Well, everything here is sold with a 5 in front of it. And so nothing up here nothing is sold with a 6 in front of it. So Miguel, let's play a game. I pick a number, you pick a number. I get to pick the first one, okay?
Okay.
5.
6.
No, you'll take 9. So it's gonna be
9.
599 or whatever.
Oh, I got it for the price. Okay, 5. I'll pick the first number. 9.
Yeah, all right. So the bottom line, I might do that because everything is biting in the 5 pond.
I like it. I like that. I'll pick the first number.
And if you said, well, how about 625? I said, okay, well, let me ask you, you're gonna hire me if we agree at 625 today? Are you ready to do business with me today? Yeah, knuckle bump. Then I'm gonna go into the 3 outcomes. I'm tired of losing listings to other people because I didn't give them the seller's initial wishes, right? So anyone want to say anything else? This is my call. I don't have to be kicked off. So if you have something else to say, I don't
That's
wanna
good.
leave-
Pick a digit. I'll pick the first digit, you pick the second, and just go back and forth.
Right.
But just to confirm, so you lock them in. If I'm saying no, like you're saying 5, I'm saying no, we have to go up much higher to 6. You'll lock them in at the 6 and then have the conversation, afterwards.
Okay. Yeah, well, I would have fun if I had something I feel like.
You're not in the fishing pond, right? You're too high. But if you really want to sell at that price, I'll list it today and we can have this conversation in 2 weeks.
Well, they're not defensive anymore, right?
No,
Like they let their guard down when you say knuckle butt. Now, and then he asked for permission, right? may
Yeah.
have,
Can I have a conversation? I'll have a conversation. Can I tell you what's gonna happen next? Boom. I
Sure.
mean, I've already bent over. I'm gonna list it at whatever their number. It's their number.
Right.
Here's the other thing, guys. Here's the other thing. Can you say, and I ask this question all the time, but I got a new audience. Can you say for 100% certainty it would not sell at 625? No. Why not give them a shot at it then? Agents have to get over themselves. We are not Kreskin. We cannot predict the future. I mean, Johnny Carson was like, oh, no, we can't do that.
Who?
Johnny Carson was what he was at Swami. I know. I date myself all the time, you know. I don't wear, in case you're wondering, I don't wear Velcro shoes yet, so I'm not that old.
Thank God.
All right, you guys, appreciate you being on. We'll have a call next Friday. Because that's not Christmas, not even Christmas, anything. And if you can, you want to make recon really fast. Let me show you the people either on that don't know about recon. I'll show you the. Oh, I love this one here. You gotta love this. Einstein, can you read that? Forget predicting the future if you can't explain the present. That's a great quote. Einstein didn't say it, I did, but I use Einstein for credibility.
My God.
Hey, can you make that slide for the fishing slide or put a link, because I was trying to take a screenshot to be able to get to that link later. It's
Here.
I can text it to you. I have it right here.
thank you so
What
much.
is the
There.
crystal ball, Denny?
What about that? Crystal ball,
What was on that?
top market value.
Interesting.
Oh, okay.
I got all kinds of things you haven't seen yet. All right, I appreciate you guys. Thanks for being on. Love you, mean it. See you next week.
Hi, y'all.
It's happy
Bye,
hour.
y'all. Thank
Bye.
you.
It's happy hour.
Oh, yeah, right. Okay, sure.